So we move up to the start line again. And we're straight into this race, which is in the Visitors Challenge Cup. It's another Dutch crew from this time the clubs Nereus and Laga on the left of the shot against the Oxford Brookes University B Club crew, and we're immediately into a bit of steering.
These are Cox's boats, so they've got someone steering the little rudder attached to their foot. Normally the bowman. Sometimes at international races you throw that up in the stroke seat because you can see a bit better up there, but this is where we see some interesting steering, going flat out, but also steering. You can see a great shot there. Pete Chambers up in the bow seat, Olympic medalist, London 2012.
Yeah, Olympic silver medalist in London 2012, Pete Chambers. He was in the lightweight Coxless 4 then, and he's now back with his old university situation with Oxford Brookes, and the guys sitting in front of him are so pleased to be rowing with him. They talk about how proud they are and what a legend he has been throughout his career. He said he could make this his last ever race, but he doesn't want to make his last ever race on a Saturday. He wants to make it on a Sunday, and they're right in there with this strong Dutch crew on the far side. But to me it looks like the Brookes crew's in quite a nice rhythm.
It does. They've gone quite close to these two crews, but they look like they're tapping it along quite nicely against this Dutch 4 who actually raced internationally recently. They raced at the World Cup, coming 16th, and they won at the Oxford Regatta recently. Then these Brookes boys know they're against some real class from the Netherlands.
Yeah, that's right. The crew from the Netherlands raced in Poznan World Cup and finished in 16th place. But they're much bigger men, about 10 kilos per man average, bigger than the Brookes crew. But the Brookes crew will like these tailwind conditions that we've got today, and they might even like the slightly bumpy water. I think if they can hang in and not let the crew from the Netherlands escape, then they could still come through the middle of the course, I think.
Oxford Brookes University, really famed for their tough, hard training program. It's certainly how they race as well. They're real racers. If you've ever rode with any people from Brookes, Greg and I both have, they've got real nuance to how they train and how they actually race, and that you'd want to have somebody from Brookes sitting in front of you or behind you, certainly in a boat. You
certainly would, and you would in a situation like this, because they race, don't they? They really know how to race. They have a, I guess what you call it, hopefully a sort of healthy competition going on within their squad. Just a couple of quotes from the crew. Barney Fox sits in the 3 seat. He says that Brookes has been a great university for him with a fantastic program, and he's loved the fantastic competitive atmosphere that he's been able to train in, and how much he enjoys that. And some of them talk about these guys being brothers for life that they're creating through that tough training program. Now we can see if it can deliver results, and they need to be tough because the stronger, bigger men from the Netherlands have got a bit of a lead on them, and they're going to need to hang in there and come through the middle now.
Yeah, you can see that discrepancy in weight. These look like big guys in this Dutch 4 here. Can we see that pay off for them? Can this lighter Oxford Brookes crew take the race up, have a gear change towards the end of the race? We're going through the middle of the course now.
Well, we talk about big guys in the bow seat there. We can see the back of Hein Stikstra, and he is 1 metre 96. He's only 88 kilos, smallest in his crew, but he's raced here before, winning the Temple in 2015. He's got under 23 representative honours for the Netherlands, and you see the bigger men in front of him. But we'll be keeping an eye on the left and looking at that Oxford Brookes crew. But they're big, strong men, and they're not doing an awful lot to slow it down. So at the moment, making it very hard for Brookes to come back.
Yeah, but they're not up enough to take their foot off the gas, and they're still working hard coming down there. Approaching Remenham. They've got a couple of lengths now, the Brookes boys.
Yeah, certainly not time to take their foot off the gas completely, but I think they'll be pleased to have opened up about a length of clear water. That's the sort of gap that starts to feel like you're in some control. You may be able to control your rate and not bring it up, but that will certainly be taking a risk when you've got a man like Chris Tebb in the stroke seat of this Brookes crew. We can see, who, as he said, proud to be rowing with someone who he describes as a genuine idol, as Pete Chambers in the bow seat.
Pete retired this year from international racing. He's probably loving going back to his university. Bring out a great race down here. Can they get a bit closer? Can they close that clear water to touching distance, and then we'll be in with a race?
That's what they'll be looking to do. before they get to the stewards' enclosure and see if they can get an extra roar from the stewards' enclosure. But as it is, the crew from Nereus and Laga, we're calling the Dutch crew here, have got a reasonable amount of control. Mick Maker in the stroke seat will have a clear view of the Oxford Brookes crew. He'll know if he needs to lift the stroke rate or do something to respond because they're making a good move. He himself has had to have 2 years off from rowing due to overtraining. He's now come back into the sport, and a few months into it finds himself here racing at Henley as part of that comeback. And you can see him in the stroke seat there, rowing pretty nicely with the race under control.
Sending down some big puddles there. Brookes boys look a little bit close to the middle of the course. Hope they're not rowing in too many dirty puddles.
Well, you get that thing where you might just catch the bow wave of the crew in front, and that just slightly affects your steering and slightly just tries to pull you in a little bit. They found themselves pretty much in the middle of the course, and like you say, a few dirty puddles there on the stroke side they're having to row through in the Oxford Brookes crew, as we see this beautiful shot of Henley on a Saturday.
What are you telling your crew now, Greg? You've got 200 metres to go, you're getting beaten by 2 lengths. Are you willing them to keep that margin as close as possible? Well,
I think you're still thinking you can win, because you're still thinking let's put pressure on them and see if something goes wrong in the other boat. All you can do is control the controllables. Do what you do, deliver the race you planned, and see if that other crew might let you back into it in any way at all. There's no doubt about it, this Brookes crew are racing this the whole way till the line. The crew from the Netherlands are able to be in control. They're not quite having to pick it up in the same way as they feel that tailwind. There's a bit of breeze, there's a bit of popple on the water, but the crew from the Netherlands there are going to take the win. Oxford Brookes closed that up to about a length as they came across the line, but confirmation of the win in the Visitors Challenge Cup for the crew from Nereus and Laga, ahead of the Oxford Brookes University B crew.